Today was a frustrating session on the river in that the water is beginning to rise from some of the recent snowmelt, and the wind was picking up today. Here I am extending the rod and getting ready to work that hole that's just on the opposite side of the river there, just below the tree. You can't really tell that the wind is blowing that much because there's no leaves on the trees, but you can see some of the tops of the trees moving. It was blowing about 10 miles an hour, maybe gusts to 15 up in the tops of the trees, and usually I'm protected down among the trees, but this day the wind was swirling, creating issues. You saw me there look over my shoulder, making sure I'm not going to hook a tree. This rod here is 380 centimeters long, and I'm using a number 3 line. I found that very difficult to control with the wind. The wind would just kite the line all over the place, pulling my fly up out of the depths. I actually had to switch to a rather heavy fly to try to anchor it in the water, but even then it was very challenging. Here I've moved upstream into a narrower but deeper area of the river, and I've changed rods. This is the Daiwa LT36SF. It's a 7.3 tip flex rod. It has a lot of power, and it helps me cast against the wind. I've changed here to a number 4 line and a rather heavy fly, a DC Utah killer bug, and that helped me control the line a little bit better in this wind, but still it was rather frustrating. You can see I'm forcing my cast. I'm actually bringing my rod a little bit too far down on my forward cast because I'm trying to throw the line into the wind. So don't use that as an example. Try to keep your rod at the end of your cast about the 2 o'clock position rather than down towards the 3. But sometimes you have to throw it out harder, particularly if the wind is blowing against you like it was for me. Here I am from that same point of view. I'm just upstream from there on those rocks, and I'm going to cast just behind that rock right there in midstream, and I'm going to hook a fish, and I'll pull him straight up right there, and he's going to shoot in the current right down between my legs. So there's the line going between my legs, and the fish is down below me. I try to gently get him out of the way, but the hook comes out, which is usually the case. Here's another point of view, a different fish. I'm working the pool over there on that opposite side behind those rocks, that eddy behind the rocks, and I'll hook a nice brown right there. And the line that I'm using is relatively short. It's only 10 feet. So I'm able to keep the fish from going too far downstream. And I'll bring him in the net, and you'll see he's a nice brown. It's about 14 inches measured against the hoop of the net. This is a little bit upstream from there. The river's narrowing. The channel gets really deep among these rocks. And I've got willows on both sides. And here I'm working just to the right current and the right side of the stream. And you'll see me hook into a whitefish right there. He was a big fish. He probably would come in about 16 inches. Very heavy and dense. He was a very strong swimmer. You can see him right through there. And I tried to keep him from going below me. You can see me getting my net into position to try to sweep him into the net. But unfortunately, he moved off to my left here, went around me and then downstream and then spit the hook right there, just out of his reach, spit the hook, and the hook shoots up and into the tree. And I'm sure that never ever happens to you, but it does to me rather frequently. Here I am just after I caught that whitefish. Now I'm working the left side, and you're going to see me pull a fish right in front of that, right out from the hydraulic cushion in front of that rock, just to the left side of the current, just downstream from those willows. He wasn't very big, maybe about a 10 or 11 inch brown. I get him just into the net, and then I lift him up to take his picture, and he wiggles and goes right back into the water. That's my walking staff, of course. It's pushing up my glasses. So here he come. Hook him right out from underneath that rock and bring him around and then into the net. Here I scoop him into the net. He's bouncing all over the place. I'll pick him up to show you, but that he shoots right out of my hands into the water. And that's it for today.